Hello everyone, my name is Victor, and welcome to scotTRANS. This week's topic is all to do with how we deal with chest dysphoria. Now, as a trans male, I choose to bind. And binding can be done various ways. The most common way is to wear a binder. Now, I'm wearing my binder at the moment, which I'll show you. Okay, so here is my binder. Just focus on that for you. Can't even tell if that's focusing on me. My eyes need testing. Okay, so that basically flattens your chest to the point where it's pretty comfortable, really. And I have a rather small chest, which quite a lot of trans guys would say I was lucky for that, but it still causes me a lot of dysphoria, and it doesn't matter the size of your chest, it's still the same traumatic feeling. You know, dysphoria, yes, it can come in different levels for different people, but I feel that just because you have a smaller chest or a larger chest, it doesn't take away that feeling of dysphoria. I think the dysphoria you feel is valid. And I've had quite a few comments of like, oh, you know, you don't even need to bind, you know, and I do. I do, because if I don't bind, I feel extremely uncomfortable. And it's just that feeling of having extra flesh around that area, which is troubling for a lot of trans guys and trans masculine people. I'm just gonna put my shirt on again, if I can. So binders tend to be the safest and most common way of binding as a trans masculine person. I do, however, use muscle tape from time to time, which saves my back, because binders do cause back issues because they kind of just tension that entire area around your torso. And that can cause a lot of issues. You should not wear a binder for longer than 8 hours a day, because it really does cause issues. It can cause issues with your breathing. It definitely causes back issues, because I have back issues because of my binder. And sadly, that can be something that just happens over time. It doesn't matter, like, you know, even if you restrict your binding 8 hours a day, you can still get back problems. There is a risk that comes with binding. Make sure you get a good binder as well. Do not buy a cheap one, a cheap Chinese one off eBay, you know, that's for like £2 or something. You must get a good quality binder. It's honestly, you don't want to be hospitalized. It's really not worth the risk. I use GC2B binders, which I can put a link in the description to. I'll put that there. They're really good, and they are designed for trans people. I used to use an Underworks binder, but they're not designed for trans masculine people. They're designed for cis men who have excess flesh around this area, and it's not really designed for long-term use as a binder for trans masculine people. It's more just a kind of aesthetic thing for cis guys. So it's really worth getting a binder from GC2B or another company that designs for trans people specifically. Muscle tape can only really be used for smaller chests and get successful results. So for me, it works quite well. I can actually get the illusion of a very realistic kind of post-surgery chest. And basically, what I do with the muscle tape is I strap each side like that to around this area on my back. I take the tape from here to about there. I don't know if I can really show that on camera. Never tape all the way round. You need to make sure you can still breathe. But it's really better to look on the internet about how to bind with muscle tape, not any kind of tape that goes all the way around. That's really unhealthy. Muscle tape, when done correctly, can give you a lot more freedom. People actually choose to work out and bind while wearing muscle tape, and it's much safer than working out in a binder, which you should not do at all. Don't lift weights and do anything way too physical with a binder on. It can be really dangerous for your lung capacity. Again, things you should never do: never use bandages. That can restrict your breathing, kill your ribs, do many horrible things. Just practice safe binding. just make sure you do your research and you look at what other transmasculine people are using and use those. Just don't use unsafe methods, please be safe. In other transition news, which isn't to do with binding, I got a phone call from my gender clinic, which is Sandyford in Glasgow, saying I'd come to the top of the waiting list for my medical assessment. Now, I actually haven't told you guys on this channel that I am pre-testosterone. I haven't actually started any kind of medical transition. So I've been on the waiting list for a while, and I got my first appointment in April this year, and I got my second appointment in August. And I've been waiting since August to hear about my medical assessment for starting testosterone. And so yesterday I got that phone call. And I now have my medical assessment on the 11th of December. And I honestly can't believe it's actually happening. They predicted that I would have to wait till February, and I was really I was very upset about that. I was extremely upset about that, and I didn't think I could wait that long. I've had a lot of issues with having to wait that long. So it's going to be the 11th of December I get my medical assessment. So soon after that, hopefully I will be starting T, and I'm so excited for that. So that's a bit of a personal update on this video. But yes, please practice safe binding. Take into account your size and the possibilities of what you can do with that. If you are slightly smaller, you can use muscle tape. Again, don't tape for too long. It can cause skin issues with the adhesive. If you're allergic to the adhesive, I've had those issues before. Make sure you find good tape, really. Make sure you find proper tape that can be on skin for a long period of time. Measure yourself properly. Don't get a binder that's too small, because it will just destroy your ribs and it will make your back agony. So it's really not worth it. Just make sure you measure yourself properly. But anyway, in summary, stay safe, bind well, be good to yourself, and I'm very much looking forward to the future. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next Sunday.